Hotshot spends most of his time trying to prove himself worthy of being called Warrior by the older Autobots. Unfortunately, this often means either showing off, which bugs the more experienced soldiers, or rushing headlong into danger, which requires a rescue. He's got a lot of potential, but he's also got a lot to learn. What is up, everybody? This is Kyle from the TF Review, here with a video review of Transformers Prime Hotshot, and I want to welcome you all to the brand new TF Review. Now let's get into this. I don't want to waste a lot of time. As we can see, Hotshot is obviously a remold of Transformers Prime RID Bumblebee. And honestly, you could not pay me to buy RID Bumblebee. Living in SoCal, we are haunted by thousands of these things. They have become a swarm. So at first I was very hesitant to buy this toy, and as a matter of fact, I often saw this guy in store shelves, only to check later and see that he was completely gone at every single store. So he became hard to find in some way. That sort of grew his appeal for me, and then I finally gave in when I admitted, okay, this isn't Bumblebee. You know, it's a new character, I might as well just get it. So I did, and I ended up really enjoying this figure, and I'll tell you why. For starters, he's got some really nice looking tribal flames going up in the front, and that works really well. A lot better than the sort of plain looking boring Bumblebee stripes. Also, his windshields are translucent all the way around, which really does end up looking nice, and I do appreciate that feature. That is something that they did not have to do that really ended up looking nice. And this thing is just covered with a really good looking paint detail. One of the things I didn't like about the Bumblebee is I thought it was lacking some paint apps, which this definitely makes up for. Now, much like the Prid Bumblebee, Hotshot does come with two weapons. They are two arm blasters. You can attach them on top of each other like so, or if you want, you can detach them. The only place you can put them is right here in the hood. And then again, if you want to dual them up, you certainly can do that. Fortunately, this is the only place you can put them. Again, it would have been cool to have some holes in the door, or maybe two peg spots on the roof. Again, he rolls quite nicely. Now let's take a look at the transformation. Now, Hotshot's transformation is very easy. First, what you want to do is pull the arms down, and the arms are under here, you can see, and they connect via this panel. You just want to fold them out and do both to both arms. Next, you want to open up the car doors, like so. Then you want to unattach the trunk, and then you can fold this whole piece downwards. Now, you're going to want to fold the legs down, and there we can see the red and the blue. And we're welcome to split them apart. It is a very tight hold, so you do have to put some force into it. Now his legs are done. Now let's work on his upper half. First thing you need to do is unlodge the side wheels, which are also connected to his arms. And you have to do both, or else this whole gimmick won't work. And then you pull them apart, and then now we have his chest piece. It has all been automorphed, his head is popped up, and his arms are now complete. Now, as you can see, he is horribly bent backwards. This we're going to have to fix. And then what we want to do is take this hood piece, first fold the back part in, and then you fold it in again. And this back piece connects into a peg that's right there. And you just peg it in, and it stays. And now we are done with Hotshot. So here we have Hotshot in his robot mode. And as you can see, there is a lot of paint detail in this robot mode. The red highlights really look nice. On top of that, the tribal flames, they really highlight his body just really well. Of course, we can see there's obviously a lot of red detail in his arms, detail in his legs. Really nice head sculpt. I'll show you this head sculpt in a little bit. But again, this figure just looks really nice. Despite the fact that I'm not a big fan of this mold, I think this figure ended up looking quite nice. Now, his head sculpt looks really good. And of course, you can remove his visor if you would like. And then he's got sort of this really angry looking grimace. That reminds me a lot of Transformers Animated. But it looks really cool. Again, on the back, it looks like pretty much any other Bumblebee figure, with the hood and the doors and the arms and the legs. And I'm sure you guys know what that means. It's time for articulation. Now, Hotshot has a lot of articulation. His head is on a ball joint. His arms move in and out, but they do get hindered by his wheel transformation. They bend at the elbow. They do not rotate at the wrist. Bend at the upper bicep. No waist swivel. Ball jointed knees, bend at the knee, and no feet articulation. And the visor you can raise up and down. So Hotshot does have a lot of nice articulation, and he is able to get into a lot of poses, trust me. Now you can take his blasters from earlier, and they do peg into his arm, into these arm boxes, or holes, or whatever you want to call them. Now he's got one on each arm, so he's got one weapon for each arm, and it does look quite nice when he's dually arming them. You can get some mighty poses from Mr. Hotshot over here. Now, for a size comparison, Hotshot is a little bit shorter than Generation's Warpath over here. And he's about the same size as Generation's Wheeljack. So that's a good size comparison for you. As you can see, he does fit in quite nicely in terms of size in the Transformers Prime line. Let's get rid of Wheeljack and let's put in Soundwave. And we can see that they are all very well in scale with one another. So, my friends, that is it for this review of Transformers Prime Hotshot. He's got a lot going for him. Some great paint detail. A heck of a lot of articulation, as you can tell from the background. As you can see, I have him T-bowing. And the transformation is quite easy. Some downsides are, I wish he would have had a waist swivel. That would have increased the posability by at least 200%. I mean, you could have him doing some pretty incredible things with that. And I really don't like how the back panel kind of sits up. It doesn't look good at all. But the pros do far outweigh the cons. And in this case, if you're avoiding this figure just because it's the Bumblebee mold, I think you shouldn't. In fact, I think Hotshot is a great standalone figure and will look great next to any other Transformers Prime figure out there. So that's it for this review. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter @TheTFReview. Have a good night, everybody.